On my birthday, she gave her boyfriend a 2 million yacht, while I waited alone until midnight. When I confronted her, she called me a loser. But then the turning point came. Her company was built by my own hands after I resigned. Her genius lover ruined everything. Just wait until I expose the whole truth. You'll see how she destroys him. This is the craziest revenge story you'll read today. On my birthday, I waited at the restaurant until closing, but Scarlett Reed never showed up. Then I saw her longtime friend Blake Turner post on social media, "Thanks to Boss Reed for the yacht. Going for a ride tonight." I liked and commented, "Have fun." The next second, Scarlett Reed's phone rang. "He's my assistant. What's wrong with rewarding him for closing a big deal? Do you need to be so snarky? You're a useless loser." Scarlett Reed hung up before I could explain, leaving me speechless. The waiter awkwardly approached me. "Sir, we're closing." I nodded, stood up, and walked home, carrying the cake. I opened the cake box alone and scooped out a bite. It was sickeningly sweet and unappetizing. Opening my phone, I saw Blake Turner had sent me a private photo of him and Scarlett Reed embracing in swimsuits. Blake Turner's taunting voice message came through. "Caleb Hayes, Scarlett is with me tonight. Too bad for you." I replied with 2 words, "Whatever." Then I blocked him. If we weren't at the same company, I would never have added him on my messaging app. Now he was even trying to provoke me. Not long after, as I was about to go to bed, Scarlett Reed returned. Seeing me lying on the bed, she immediately erupted, "Caleb Hayes, you've really gotten too bold. Blake Turner closed a big deal. What's wrong with me rewarding him? You actually called and threatened him. How dare you?" As soon as she finished speaking, accompanied by a slap, I was stunned. I never expected to be slapped by her on my birthday. Furious, Scarlett Reed pointed at my nose without waiting for my explanation. "Either apologize, or tomorrow, you report directly to the branch office." I flared up. "Fine, I'll go. You remember this, you asked for it." I grabbed my clothes and stormed out, slamming the door. Scarlett Reed shrieked, "Caleb Hayes, get back here. To hell with you." I left without looking back and went directly to the branch office the next morning. At 8:30 a.m., the group chat exploded. "Caleb Hayes, where are you? You actually skipped work. Get back here." Scarlett Reed relentlessly bombarded me in the group chat because I had blocked her and she couldn't reach me. I took a photo of the branch office and sent it. "Ms. Reed's decision last night. I'm reporting here today. Any instructions?" Immediately, former colleagues from my department sent me private messages. "What's going on, Mr. Hayes? They sent you to the branch office? You're a tech guru. A waste of talent. Has Scarlett Reed gone crazy? Mr. Hayes, are you going to take that?" I didn't reply. I just created a group chat to calm them down. After all, I was still waiting for Scarlett Reed to come to her senses. I was giving her one last chance, however. Scarlett Reed was fuming. She called me from a different phone number. "Caleb Hayes, get your butt back here right now. You're at the branch office, but there's still a handover to do here." Hearing her say that, I immediately laughed. "Scarlett Reed, what do you take me for?" Blake Turner's voice came through. "Scarlett, don't bother with him. He's just jealous." "Hey, Emph. So unprofessional. What's he jealous about?" Scarlett Reed scoffed. "Caleb Hayes, get back here in half an hour." She hung up, giving me an ultimatum. I was annoyed. Scarlett Reed probably never considered who was truly responsible for the company's success. I didn't say anything. I typed up a resignation letter and took it with me to the company. When I saw Scarlett Reed, I handed her the resignation letter, along with the handover document. Scarlett Reed immediately exploded. "Caleb Hayes, are you threatening me?" "Of course not. I'm just tired and need a break." Scarlett Reed held down the resignation letter, staring at me as her tone softened. "Yesterday was my fault. I didn't even get to spend your birthday with you. I'll make it up to you today." She completely avoided the topic of my resignation. I knew she couldn't do without me. I knew when to stop pushing. Scarlett Reed booked a restaurant in front of me, inviting me to lunch. I didn't refuse. I wanted to see what she was planning. As I left her office, I ran into Blake Turner. He seemed to be waiting for me there. And when he saw me, a smug smile spread across his face. "Caleb Hayes, you're back. I thought you actually went to the branch office. Playing hard to get, that trick isn't fun." Hearing that, I calmly said, "I don't need such tactics with you." "What do you mean?" "It means I don't want it anymore." "Do whatever you want," I said, pushing past him. Blake Turner, to my surprise, faked an injury, immediately stumbling back several steps and hitting a table corner. With a crash, papers scattered everywhere, and he fell to the floor, his face contorted in pain. Scarlett Reed heard the noise and immediately came out, yelling at me when she saw the scene. "What are you doing? I already gave you an out, and you're still not satisfied." "Blake Turner, are you okay?" Blake Turner grimaced as he got up, shaking his head. He said weakly, "I'm fine, Scarlett. He's just upset and said a few things he shouldn't have. I can handle it." Scarlett Reed's eyes burned with malice as she looked at me. I looked indifferent, pointing above my head. "Next time you act, pay attention." His face went pale. I glanced sideways at him, then turned to Scarlet Reed. So you like phonies, Scarlet Reed, get a grip. Scarlet Reed, enraged, lunged to slap me, but I gripped her wrist tightly. You need to understand, you're begging me to stay, I'm not begging to stay. Anyone trying to make a name for themselves here needs to prove their worth. I shoved her aside harshly. Scarlet Reed was stunned. She hadn't expected me to say such a thing to her face. Caleb Hayes, even though you're part of the company, your rank has changed. Your insubordination today warrants an apology. I turned to look at her. Insubordination? Do you think you're a dictator? Blake Turner, her knight in shining armor, chimed in. Caleb Hayes, who needs you? Do you really think the company won't fall apart without you? Don't flatter yourself. I smiled, staring at Scarlet Reed. Is that what you think too? She remained silent, but a flicker of complexity crossed her face. I knew she was scared. Don't talk big, unless you can take over all the deals I'm working on. After saying that, I walked directly to the department. When I got there, I found that everything on my desk was gone. In fact, my entire office had been cleared out. My assistant, Owen Davies, came up to me, looking indignant. Blake Turner did all this. He said since you resigned, you shouldn't stay here anymore. What are we going to do, Mr. Hayes? It's fine, just wait and see. Scarlet Reed allowing him to go this for showed she truly didn't want me to have an easy time. I no longer wanted to argue with her. By noon, I had prepared the divorce papers and property distribution. When I entered the restaurant's private room, I found it was just the two of us. Thankfully, she hadn't lost her mind and brought Blake Turner along. Scarlet Reed looked at me and handed me a box, a birthday gift, to make up for it. I opened it to find a game controller. I know you like playing games. That popular new game is really hot right now. Try it. I glanced at it, pulled out my phone, and saw that Blake Turner had added me on an alternate account. Curious what he was up to. I accepted. To my surprise, he immediately sent me an order screenshot. See? You're only worth 200 or 300. Caleb Hayes, if I were you, I'd leave soon. Stop being dead weight. I had no idea where he got the nerve to constantly show off to me, but I have to admit, his words truly hit my breaking point. I pushed the box back. Scarlet Reed glanced at it, raising an eyebrow. What's wrong? You don't like it? Caleb Hayes, what do you want? I've already apologized to you. Why are you still making a fuss? My birthday is over. Scarlet Reed, let's get a divorce. I had the divorce papers and photos ready. If you don't agree, he'll proceed with legal action. Scarlet Reed saw them and immediately grew furious. Caleb Hayes, what are you doing? I can explain Blake Turner's situation. It was just playing along. Do you have to be like this? He closed the Titan Innovations deal, so I gave him a yacht and just played along with him. Why are you so narrow-minded? I know you've worked hard these past few years, but since Blake Turner came, the company's performance has continuously risen. You can't deny his contributions. Can't we stop this now? I found it amusing. You know perfectly well how his performance came about. If you don't sign, well, go through legal channels. I won't say anything else. Enough. At that moment, Scarlet Reed, exasperated, picked up a plate and threw it at my face. Suddenly, I was covered in sauce, looking disheveled. Caleb Hayes, don't you dare think the world stops turning without you. I ignored her and left. That afternoon, I publicly posted my resignation letter in the group chat, tagging everyone. From today, all technical issues and business matters will be handed over to Blake Turner. Everyone was stunned, but I remained calm, completing all procedures impeccably so they couldn't find any fault. When Blake Turner saw the message, he immediately came out and stopped me. Caleb Hayes, you're no longer the vice president. Vacate your office immediately. Don't worry. I would never usurp my place. Do you want everything I've used? A double meaning. Blake Turner's face turned ashen. Stop being so stubborn. Pack up and get out. No! Scarlet Reed emerged, saying sternly, the Titan Innovations team is here. You're responsible for the presentation. I found it amusing. Blake Turner negotiated the Titan Innovations deal, and you even gave him a yacht as a reward. Now that the client is here, Blake Turner should naturally handle the reception. Do you really need me to give the presentation? Scarlet Reed bit her lip. She knew perfectly well that the core competitiveness of the Titan Innovations deal lay in my proposal, including the specific operational procedures and technical support, all of which were my work, but Blake Turner was unwilling. Don't worry, I can do it. It's just a presentation and reception. I'm capable. Hearing this, Scarlet Reed hesitated. Blake Turner thumped his chest, assuring her, I've tracked the whole process, and the details are very clear. Don't worry. With me here, there won't be any problems. A few sycophants chimed in. Mr. Turner is right. Caleb Hayes is just a kept man. What good is he? Mr. Turner, who studied abroad, is naturally extraordinary. These few sentences made Blake Turner even more arrogant and put Scarlet Reed's mind at ease. I smiled without speaking, packed my things, and went to the HR department to complete the procedures. Ms. Jensen is here. Just then, a voice came from outside. Alexandra Jensen of Titan Innovations had arrived. Blake Turner rushed to the front, the elevator opened, and a beautiful figure appeared. Blake Turner bowed obsequiously. "Ms. Jensen, welcome to our company." Scarlet Reed also quickly put on a smile. Alexandra Jensen looked around, somewhat surprised. "Where's Caleb Hayes?" Blake Turner's face stiffened, then he explained. "He resigned. I'm responsible for this deal now. Ms. Jensen, please, come in." Alexandra Jensen paused. "Resigned?" She looked at Scarlet Reed. "You approved it?" "He wanted to resign himself. We couldn't contain his greatness here." "Ms. Jensen, please come in. Let's not talk about him." Alexandra Jensen immediately sneered. "You're right. I wouldn't even glance at a company like yours if it weren't for Caleb Hayes." "No Caleb Hayes. No deal." Alexandra Jensen turned and walked away. Blake Turner was dumbfounded. Scarlet Reed panicked. "Ms. Jensen, please let me explain. I'll get Caleb Hayes over here right away. Please wait. Please wait." Alexandra Jensen wouldn't wait. She turned and left. I was sitting in my office playing a game, really into it, when I heard hurried footsteps outside. Then a figure burst in, raising a hand and slapping me. "Caleb Hayes, you bastard! Look what you've done!" I touched my face. A little dazed, then reacted, giving her a cold smile. "Scarlet Reed, this is the second time you've hit me. I'm calling the police." Scarlet Reed trembled with rage. "You wouldn't dare. Tell me, what did you say to Titan Innovations?" Alexandra Jensen came, saw me, and left, saying she had already spoken to you. "If you don't get her back here today, I'll never forgive you." Without another word, I stood up and left. Scarlet Reed roared, "Stop. Where are you going?" "I'm going to find someone, of course." Only then did she relent. I first went to the technical department to record the security footage, then directly to the hospital for a medical examination, and then I filed a police report. An hour later, the police brought Scarlet Reed to the police station. When she saw me, Scarlet Reed lunged forward, sharply scolding, "Are you out of your mind? Settle down." The police officer slapped the table. "What's going on? What's your relationship?" "We are about to divorce, but we are still married. This is domestic violence." I pointed to my face. "My left eardrum is perforated. Here's my medical report." Scarlet Reed was stunned. "Caleb Hayes, you're playing games with me?" "I'm not playing games with you. Either we get a divorce or I expose everything. The Titan Innovations team hasn't left yet. Think about it. Will you give up that big moneymaker? Or will you keep hounding me?" Scarlet Reed immediately froze. Blake Turner, who had followed her, was about to speak when I looked up at him. "You, the affair partner, are still following us." "What? Are you really not afraid of being ruined? When I negotiate with Scarlet Reed, you stand aside and keep quiet, understand?" Blake Turner's face turned green, then pale, and I promptly took out the divorce papers for her to sign. Otherwise, I absolutely wouldn't let her off easy, with the police explaining the legal ramifications. Scarlet Reed had no choice but to bite her tongue and swallow her anger. She glanced at the divorce papers and quickly signed them. I tapped the table and smiled. "I'll put in a good word for you with Titan Innovations." Scarlet Reed finally breathed a sigh of relief, glaring at me fiercely. I wasn't worried about her not paying. After all, the Titan Innovations deal was no small business. I left the police station and went directly to see Ms. Jensen. When she saw me, Alexandra Jensen grabbed my hand. "What are you up to, kid? Why didn't I see you today? That high-strung lady of yours really has a temper, and she's not even trying to hide it. That Mr. Song, the pretty boy, makes me sick. Are you going to take that?" She was my childhood friend and the person in charge of facilitating this collaboration. Alexandra Jensen looked at my face, clearly annoyed. I smiled. "How could I tolerate that? I just taught him a lesson." I showed her the divorce papers. Alexandra Jensen immediately laughed. "I knew you weren't someone to be trifled with. All right, what do you need me to do now?" "Help me stall for a month." Alexandra Jensen readily agreed and gave me the first stage contract. I took the contract back to the company, and Scarlet Reed immediately rushed over. "How did it go?" "For the first stage contract, Ms. Jensen said she needs to investigate thoroughly before proceeding." Blake Turner glanced at me sideways. "It couldn't be you meddling, could it? I was talking to Ms. Jensen just fine before." "Then you go." "Ms. Jensen hasn't left yet. Why don't you go talk to her?" Blake Turner fell silent. Scarlet Reed immediately told Blake Turner to book a private room. She wanted to invite Ms. Jensen to dinner and asked me to join them. Blake Turner then relaxed. Entertaining clients at dinner was his forte. In front of Alexandra Jensen, Blake Turner spoke brazenly. "Caleb, you absolutely must entertain Ms. Jensen well today. If our company can sign this deal, it's all thanks to you." He gestured for me to fill my glass, but I covered it. "I have a serious medical condition that prevents me from drinking." Scarlet Reed kicked me from beside her. "Why are you being so difficult? This is Ms. Jensen." Alexandra Jensen stepped in to mediate. "If he can't drink, he can't drink. Water is fine. Mr. Turner, you drink." She then had someone fill Blake Turner's glass. After 3 consecutive glasses, Blake Turner's face was flushed, and his tongue started to slur. Alexandra Jensen sighed from the side. "He's no good." I heard that Caleb Hayes once drank until he had internal bleeding and was sent to the hospital to have his stomach pumped. Why is Mr. Turner so useless? Scarlet Reed's face turned pale when she heard this. I scoffed. I had attended countless such drinking parties to help Scarlet Reed close deals. I literally drank until I vomited and bled, yet Scarlet Reed would scold me, saying I was ungrateful and a loser. I worked on technology during the day and socialized at night, getting drunk every day. Now that it was Blake Turner's turn, she felt sorry for him. "Ms. Jensen, he can't do it. Let me take over." Alexandra Jensen wanted to get even for me. She wasn't about to let him off the hook. Alexandra Jensen, displeased, set down her glass. "If it weren't for Caleb Hayes, do you think it'd even consider Vanguard systems?" Scarlet Reed's face immediately turned deathly pale. She quickly tugged at me. I pulled my hand away. This deal was negotiated by Blake Turner. Since that's the case, Blake Turner should certainly make some sacrifices. "Ms. Reed, you're not going to be reluctant, are you? A man trying to make his mark in the world should be willing to make sacrifices." Alexandra Jensen reached out and patted Blake Turner, her eyes seductive, making Blake Turner tremble and immediately stand up. "Don't worry, Ms. Jensen. I'm at your service today." With that, he refilled his own glass. Scarlet Reed watched from the side, gritting her teeth. She glared fiercely at me, but I pretended not to see her. There was a time when I was hospitalized from drinking, and she never showed any concern for me. Now Blake Turner had only had 3 drinks, and she was already feeling sorry for him. Alexandra Jensen was no delicate lady. She had achieved such massive success in the shopping mall industry and was a leading figure of the Jensen family. She was no pushover. I had witnessed her methods. In just one meal, she had Blake Turner drunk enough to be sent to the hospital with alcohol poisoning. Scarlet Reed wanted to follow, but Alexandra Jensen tapped the table. "Ms. Reed, have you never done business? He's just an employee. Have your security send him off, and well continue." She had no choice but to stay and accompany them. Scarlet Reed also got very drunk and was eventually dragged out. Alexandra Jensen truly was my good childhood friend for a whole month. She invited them to dinner and drinks every other day to ensure the subsequent deals progressed smoothly. Scarlet Reed and Blake Turner went to great lengths to flatter her. A month later, I received my divorce decree, and these social engagements came to an end. Titan Innovations officially entered the final negotiations, initiating the second round of contract signing. However, Blake Turner still tried to provoke me. "Caleb Hayes, stay and listen. Consider it your parting gift." I raised an eyebrow, initially wanting to refuse, but then I thought, why not watch? So, I readily agreed and sat down. When we arrived at the company boardroom, everyone was already there. I found a corner seat. Alexandra Jensen sat down primly when she arrived. "Let's begin." Blake Turner opened the proposal and went through the entire process. Reading it verbatim, it was dry and lengthy. After about 10 minutes, Alexandra Jensen grew impatient. "All right, what kind of garbage company is Vanguard Systems? Drinking until you end up in the hospital, and you can't even explain a proposal clearly? Who actually made this proposal? I want to see the specific operations for the app's launch, and the bugs aren't fixed yet. What exactly is going on with you all?" This barrage of questions stunned Scarlet Reed. She turned to look at me, but I ignored her. Scarlet Reed's eyes pleaded for help, and finally, she couldn't take it anymore. "Caleb Hayes, you explain." I spread my hands. "I've resigned. It's not appropriate, Caleb Hayes. Stop messing around. You made this deal from start to finish. You explain it. Once it's done, I'll give you the money you're owed." I quickly stopped her. "Ms. Reed, we're already divorced, and I've handed over all my work. Blake is inexperienced, so he just needs more practice." Alexandra Jensen laughed. "So all of this was Mr. Hayes' work. I knew it. How could some people's minds create something so brilliant? Mr. Hayes, let's talk in detail." "Mr. Hayes?" Scarlet Reed looked bewildered. I shrugged. I had started my own company the day the divorce papers were signed. I had been paving the way for her success for years, and it was time I started thinking about myself. Scarlet Reed's angry shouts came from behind me. I ignored her as she chased me down to the ground floor. "Caleb Hayes, what's your relationship with her?" She grabbed me, demanding an answer. I pulled her hand away. "What does it have to do with you?" "I was wrong. It was all my fault. I didn't see things clearly. I regret it. Can we get back together? I have to close this deal, or all the company's funds will be tied up in it." Her face was flushed with urgency, and I knew what she said was true. After all, they had placed immense importance on the Titan Innovations deal, investing all their capital into it. The initial overwhelming advertising and promotion were like burning money. Now it was different. If they couldn't proceed, it would mean premature failure. "As you wish, it has nothing to do with me." Scarlet Reed panicked and immediately tried to appease me. "I was wrong. It was all Blake Turner. He forced me. I didn't know he was such an inexperienced fool. Please, help us finish this second phase. I pushed her away and walked off. Scarlet Reed screamed hysterically behind me, crying on her knees immediately. Her disgraceful behavior was captured on video and uploaded online. Vanguard Systems faced a crisis, and Scarlet Reed's affairs were also posted by netizens. I checked, and most of the comments from company IPs were from company employees. It seemed people weren't blind and could see that Alexandra Jensen was on my side. Many colleagues expressed their indignation on my behalf regarding Blake Turner's ridiculous actions. This woman is so stupid. For a male affair partner, she cleared out the company's lifeblood. What lifeblood? That's her husband. She cheated on him and then drove him away. Who doesn't know Caleb Hayes is our company's tech guru? Caleb Hayes and Ms. Jensen are childhood friends. The Hayes family is quite well off. Back then, to marry Scarlet Reed, he fell out with his family, which is why he started his own business. So-called love doesn't exist these days. It's better to find someone from similar backgrounds. Scarlet Reed must be regretting it terribly now, isn't she? Crying on her knees won't help. The expert isn't giving her any chances. I watched the video of Scarlet Reed hysterically saying she regretted it and wanted me back. But I felt no sympathy. I had given her many chances. From the moment she brought Blake Turner into the company, I was against it. Blake Turner had only gone to an unaccredited university overseas and got a degree without much effort. He had no real skills. He didn't understand technology. Only how to talk. If he had just taken an administrative position in the company, that would have been one thing. But Blake Turner insisted on sticking his nose into core business operations. That I could not tolerate. The core technology was something I developed myself. Even my assistant, Owen Davies, only knew about 30% of it. Later, Scarlet Reed lavished money on him, buying him a yacht, and I couldn't help but laugh. Her actions clearly slapped me in the face. I, Caleb Hayes, am not someone to be taken advantage of. I have money and ability. Why should I pave the way for their success? After returning, Alexandra Jensen and I reached an agreement. The proposal given to Scarlet Reed failed halfway through. The app had many bugs, and I was kicked out before I could fix them. Many users complained that the second phase couldn't proceed at all, forcing it to be hastily taken offline. Meanwhile, my complete version was immediately launched. From the entire interface to subsequent graphics and development screens, everything was different. But the core was the same. Upon learning this news, Scarlet Reed couldn't stay calm. She frantically called me, begging for my forgiveness. I blocked her directly, but she wouldn't give up and went to my parents' house, kneeling and pleading. Scarlet Reed looked utterly miserable in the heavy rain. My parents were somewhat moved and called me back to handle the situation. As soon as I entered the house, I saw Scarlet Reed kneeling on the floor. She looked up, smiling ingratiatingly at me, wanting to take off my shoes. I walked straight past her. Scarlet Reed quickly followed. Caleb Hayes, I was wrong. I didn't see my true feelings. He seduced me. Can you forgive me? Hearing her say this, I laughed. Didn't Blake Turner satisfy you? Didn't he tell you he had properties and connections overseas? My sarcasm made her face go pale. I pulled out my phone. Scarlet Reed, there are some things I prefer not to say much about, but you need to understand that I'm someone who loves fiercely and hates just as fiercely. When I loved you, I would give you everything. When I don't, well, be strangers. If you don't agree, I can drag you through the mud, but airing our dirty laundry in public won't do you any good. Being abandoned after using and infidelity could crush you. I don't really care about the company's affairs. As for what happens next, you figure it out. Just don't harass me or my family again. I turned and called security to escort her out. Scarlet Reed cried hysterically, rushing forward and clinging to my leg, begging, "It's all my fault. I shouldn't have treated you like that. I've taken back the yacht. I've taken back everything. The company can't collapse. It's both our hard work, please." I roughly pulled her up and pushed her out the door. She tried to lunge at me again, so I slapped her. Scarlet Reed, don't you dare tarnish what we once had. Let me tell you, I don't care about any yacht or money. But if you mention the company again, I won't be so polite. You gave up everything yourself. If you come here again, I won't let you off easy. Get out. I pushed Scarlet Reed out and told the property management that if she ever came in again, I would file a complaint. I also made sure they recognized her face and wouldn't let her in again. My parents supported my decision, especially after they saw Blake Turner's ugly making a scene behavior, which made them even more disgusted. After Scarlet Reed went back, she cried her eyes out. The company soon couldn't sustain itself, and on the day it went bankrupt, Owen Davies and his team came to my team. Blake Turner's whereabouts were unknown. I thought the matter was settled, but unexpectedly, Blake Turner soon posted pathetic photos of himself online. In the photos, his face was swollen and red, and his pinky finger was bandaged. He cried, claiming I abused my power to settle a personal vendetta, making it impossible for honest workers to succeed. He even revealed my current company name. Owen Davies and the others were furious when they saw this. I don't know how Blake Turner managed to charm those women, but some delusional haters actually became his fans. After hearing his statements, they even went to my company website to boycott and verbally abuse me. I saved all the evidence and responded to each claim. Blake Turner: you were the affair partner in my marriage. These are the photos, videos, and voice messages of you provoking me. Do you admit it? A male affair partner, jumping around wildly at my breaking point, a kept man so blind he couldn't see himself. Was I wrong to make it impossible for you to work? Not only that, but you won't be able to work in any company in this industry ever again. Besides being morally bankrupt, your competence is also beyond words. When you collaborated with Titan Innovations, you read the proposal verbatim. The company's app received overwhelmingly negative reviews within a month of launch. Isn't that your masterpiece? You have neither virtue nor talent. What right do you have to complain? No boss would ever hire you, would they? Blake Turner was crushed by these two posts and couldn't lift his head. I then released all the photos, videos, and voice messages of him provoking me over the years, filed a police report, and hired a lawyer to sue him. Only then did Blake Turner get scared. He quickly sent me a private message. I'm sorry, Caleb, I was wrong. Scarlett Reed made me do it. She said if I ruined your reputation, she'd give me $500,000. I'm completely broke now. I just want to make some money and go back, please. Let me go. Forgive me, Caleb. I beg you. He kept calling me Caleb to disgust me. I didn't want to talk to him much, but I didn't expect him to be so thick-skinned. I immediately posted all of this online. Why don't you get a new face? Seeing this, netizens also joined in, becoming onlookers. Oh my God! This gossip is juicy. A kept man acting so tough, driving the rightful owner away and then crying foul. You know Caleb Hayes is an industry expert. He was the gold medal winner of our first game competition. He was only 16 then. Scarlett Reed should be the one crying the most. She lost sight of what truly mattered. Back then, Caleb Hayes was blinded by love. He fell out with his family for Scarlett Reed, who knew that just a few years into their marriage, Scarlett Reed would cheat with a longtime friend. Don't insult the term longtime friend. True childhood sweethearts either get together early or find their own paths. Who discovers their love is a longtime friend halfway through life. This guy came back from overseas after getting a degree without much effort from an unaccredited university. He was clearly just looking for a rich woman. Regarding this farce, Blake Turner immediately closed the comments. We also had the police arrest him. Did he think slandering me online and apologizing would make everything okay? As for Scarlett Reed, when she learned all of this, she had a complete meltdown. She desperately denied her relationship with Blake Turner, but she didn't expect me to be so ruthless. Willing to air all our dirty laundry in public and still not let her go. Only then did she realize she had provoked the wrong person. Scarlett Reed arranged for bail. After she was released, she clung to me. Caleb Hayes, all the obstacles are gone now. How about I pursue you? When Scarlett Reed and I first got together, I was the one who pursued her. Now it was her turn to pursue me. I scoffed. Before I could speak, a car horn sounded from the roadside. Alexandra Jensen drove up in her Porsche Panamera and rolled down the window. Caleb Hayes, would I have the honor of inviting you to dinner? I smiled, pushed Scarlett Reed aside, and walked briskly towards Alexandra. Scarlett Reed had a complete meltdown. Caleb Hayes, you were already with her. You two were in on this together, weren't you? You cheated and now you're playing the victim? I turned my head, disgusted. Alexandra Jensen stepped out, holding a bottle of mineral water, and poured it over Scarlett Reed's head. If you don't have a mirror, here's some water to see yourself clearly. Look at what kind of person you are. Do you really think it'd bother to scheme against someone like you? If I liked Caleb Hayes, I would have been with him long ago. Would it even be your turn? Her words made Scarlett Reed's face instantly pale. Alexandra Jensen snorted. Back then, Uncle Arthur offered you $500,000 to leave. You had quite an appetite. You didn't want to go, and instead you clung to Caleb Hayes to make money for you. Once you made your money, you wanted to kick him aside. You must think you're truly charming. If Caleb Hayes hadn't been blind, would you have even gotten that position? But now your true colors are showing. This is what you get. After Alexandra Jensen finished speaking, she pulled me into the car for dinner. Scarlett Reed slumped to the ground. Speechless, I was shocked. $500,000. My dad offered her $500,000 back then. How did you know? Arthur Hayes even wanted me to use a honey trap to get you back, but I refused. You were completely under a spell back then, insisting on being with her, and I had no choice but to persuade him to give you that chance. I wanted you to enjoy the happiness of love. But I never thought it would end up hurting you. I hadn't known about any of this, so I looked at her. Now you don't even think about it. I'm already married and have a son. You can just be a godfather to my son. Hearing that, I chuckled. Let's go to the shopping mall to buy a savings bond. Why buy a savings bond? For my godson, of course. You didn't think being a godfather was a free ride, did you? Alexandra Jensen immediately laughed. At least you have some conscience. Knowing Scarlet Reed's true colors, I felt a pang of regret. I had almost ruined my health for that outcome, but it didn't matter anymore. It was all in the past. I hadn't seen Scarlet Reed since, and she didn't have the nerve to come looking for me again. But a year later, I saw her on the news. Blake Turner was released from prison. I had him sentenced to a year because he tried to incite online mob violence by slandering me. I didn't sign any settlement agreement. I just wanted him to serve his time. After his release, Scarlet Reed went to pick him up, and the two even had a grand reconciliation. I heard Owen Davies talk about it. When he told me, I scoffed, wondering if Scarlet Reed was out of her mind, falling for the same trap twice, who knew that just 2 days later, it was on the news. Scarlet Reed had killed someone, seeing the blood-stained, pixelated body in the photos. I couldn't help but be shocked. Owen Davies and the others were discussing the case too. Scarlet Reed is truly ruthless. They say the two of them argued over money, and that's why it was a crime of passion. No, it wasn't. The apartment they rented was right next to mine. I was there yesterday and saw something that scared me. Blake Turner was being supported by Scarlet Reed, but the day after he got out, he brought a woman home and made a mess, and Scarlet Reed caught them. After the woman left, Scarlet Reed didn't argue. She just cooked a bowl of hot oil and threw it on Blake Turner's face. Scarlet Reed said he ruined everything for her, that it was because of his face that she lost everything, so she had to ruin his face and cut off his lower body. How brutal. Everyone looked at me in unison as they said this, which startled me. What are you looking at? I'm perfectly normal. Boss didn't say you weren't normal, just that he's glad you finally left that crazy woman. I smiled. All right, the new product is launching soon. Everyone pay attention. Make sure all bugs are fixed. Understood? Mission accomplished. Everyone chuckled and got back to work. I looked at the news and sighed, feeling a mix of regret and resignation. Scarlet Reed's life was truly ruined, but this was her own choice, being with Blake Turner. Through life and death, torturing each other for a lifetime, isn't that what she wanted? After Vanguard Systems went bankrupt, I started my own company called Hayes Innovations. It made over $100 million in profit within 3 years. At the victory party, Arthur Hayes patted my shoulder. Son, I can finally rest easy now. The family business can be handed over to you. From now on, you can marry or date whoever you want, but there's one thing. I cut him off. Dad, don't worry, I will definitely be more discerning. I will never fall for the same trick twice. I still long for love, but I won't be so impulsive anymore. Scarlet Reed brought me not just lessons, but also memories. The road ahead is long, and there's still so much I need to experience. This time, it was just one stop along the way. A brief pause. Perhaps the next stop will offer even better scenery.